everyone, welcome to Chargers Hoops TV. Ronnie, a very nervous weekend of basketball for the Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers. Not going to lie, I think I had a couple of nightmares about Smith Milner on the weekend after he torched us in that fourth quarter. What can you say? It was unbelievable, and now the pressure's on.
Absolutely, they've got to win this week, and I don't want to be around Anthony Stewart at all because whiteboards, backboards could be flying through the roof at Swisher Hoops Academy. I might just stay home for the week and might just attend Friday to call the game with you.
That is not the silliest of ideas at all, and neither is this. This is Chargers Hoops TV.
Round 15 of the Coles Express NBL 1 South season continued, and Sandringham were in town at the Kingborough Sports Centre and took on our Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers, and the women were up first, JB, and what were your thoughts on the game?
It was a very interesting game, Ronald. The best way to describe Sandringham is I think this is what the Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers will look like in a couple of seasons' time. A nice blend of, supreme senior players, those younger core players having come up, established themselves, and again, another crop of young ladies coming through for the team. But it was always going to be a battle, and there's no doubt that Britt Smart set the tone early for Sandringham. A 10-point first quarter for the Sabres, and she was causing havoc all over the floor. Hobart really struggling to keep pace there with the Sabres on the perimeter, also with plenty of size as well. Rachel Jarry in town, and Georgia Pinot with a monster game as well for the Sabres. So the Chargers had their work cut out for them, and they had a lot of trouble all over the floor. Started strong in the second term, but Smart not quite on terms as she'd like to be, and it was great to see the combination of the high-low play of Kylie McCauley and Angie Tompkins coming into effect. Shana Thompson hitting some long-range bombs, and Paige Bradley being a menace all over the floor. But in turn, the Sabres did have a response, and that was through Amy O'Neill, who was really dominating the game all up and down the floor for the Sabres, really controlled the pace and got things underway once again. In that third term, the Sabres, it was put up or shut up time, and they're the ones that stepped up. Unfortunately for Hobart, down Zoe Banks, so down a key rotation there on the perimeter. They just didn't always have players at the time to go with the Sabres, and of course, reaping the rewards of solid charges and solid rebounding was Georgia Pinot, who was our MVP from the Sabres. She played quite well. Final term, things started to roll there for the women, and they looked like they were going to get over the line again. Angie Tompkins really battling through a little bit of foul trouble, some physical play. She played really nicely there. Kylie McCauley chipping in. Shana Thompson once again hitting those big long-range bombs, but it just wasn't enough as the Sabres got over the line, defeating your Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers 83-74. Good to see Angie Tompkins again, as we mentioned, 27 points, 8 rebounds, really contributing there as well. And Shana with 19 points and 6 rebounds. But the women unable to get over the line.
And after the game, we caught up with head coach Dwayne Damon.
Let's hear what he had to say.
Oh, look, I think it was a bit of a patchy game for us tonight. We really found it hard to get our rhythm offensively, and I think in the end, that's probably what cost us. I think we probably a little bit leaky with our defence in the first quarter and gave them a few extra points that they didn't deserve, and that was probably the difference in the game. I think aside from that, it was a pretty good game from both teams, and we're disappointed not to come away with a win there. And we fought it out for the whole game, which is really, really pleasing. At some stage we've got to take that step forward and turn those good efforts into wins. So that's just the next step in our progression, I guess. We really found it hard to find something that we could get decent rhythm and decent shots out of consistently. So that's something we've got to keep working on. It's something that's sort of plagued us in the last couple of weeks. So something that we've really got to go back to the drawing board and hopefully fix that for Launceston next week. I think the positives are mainly being able to keep playing the game. There's a couple of times again where we could have given up and just let the game drift away, but we didn't. We kept fighting, and I think we were within 6 points with a couple of minutes to go, and that's all we ask, that we're in the game when it counts and let the cards fall as they do. Big game for us next week against our arch rivals Launceston, so they're fighting to keep their spot in the middle of the pack there in the finals. So I guess our job will be to come in next week and make that hard for them, and if they get the win, make them deserve it.
And also after the game, we caught up with Chargers up-and-coming youngster, Eliza Vanderkamp.
Eliza had a front row seat for everything that went on during this game. Let's hear what she had to say.
I think we weren't quite well. It seems that in patches we weren't doing our best, or things just weren't going our way, but we stayed together and we fought through it and did what we could to stay in the game, and unlucky to go down, but we stayed the way we could. Over the past couple of weeks, I think we have improved significantly since the first half of the season. We didn't start off how we wanted to start, and I think we've just stuck together, worked hard at trainings and gotten better at training how we want to play, and training in a physical way to then bring it out on the court and show our best efforts. One final game to go next week, and I think we're all just going to leave it out there and give it all our best shot, whatever goes wrong. Hope the cards fall our way and that we do get another win under our belt before the end, but otherwise we'll just play what we can and finish strong.
And of course, upcoming this weekend, Ronnie, not only the final game of the season for the women, but a retirement of a club stalwart in Kylie McCauley.
Yes, Kylie has been a stalwart, as you mentioned, JB, for so many years now. She came into the league when I first came into the league as a referee. Not only did I part halfway through her career early on, but she has kept going and going and going, and she's just worked her backside off. A tremendous player, traditional type player as well too, can really work hard down in the low post, and can be that stretch player as well too, can hit that odd perimeter shot when needed, and she has had some big games over the years as well too, but an absolutely remarkable journey for Kylie McCauley, and congratulations on a wonderful career in CBL/NBL1.
Let's hope the crowd are out and about this Friday night as we take on the Launceston Tornadoes at home. Kylie's final game, let's send her off with the reception she deserves.
Whatever part of your home you want to improve, Clennett's Mitre 10 has everything you need to get the job done. A wide selection of indoor and outdoor plants and pots, paint for every style and every project, complete DIY kitchens and bathrooms, and all the tools you need for the job. The local Clennett's team know their huge range inside and out, so you'll get the right advice and the right product every time. Clennett's, mighty helpful Mitre 10.
Back here in the Chargers Hoops TV studio, and a massive game Friday night in the men's, Ronnie. The Sandringham Sabres in town, a battle for the top four, but a genuine battle for the top two. Both sides wanting to lock in 2 home finals to try and secure the easiest path possible to the final series. How did it unfold? What did you see?
Well, it was a big game and a big rivalry game as well too, JB. A lot playing on the line here in the second last round of the season, and really a great start by Hobart, and it was well started by Ollie Angerstein, who got us going with an alley-oop play that got us up and about, and then followed up by another dunk as well too. Again, he was really productive. Jared Bairstow chipped in very well, because the loss of Sam McDaniel and the loss of Harry Froling were huge for this lineup as well too. AJ Harris was possibly could have been out as well too, but was medically cleared to go. And again, the first half really showed that Hobart why they're on top of the ladder, and played some really great basketball. Up 10 at one stage, but Sandringham were able to fight their way back and close the gap down by a few points at the major break. And then really in the second half, it was a bit of a turn of the table, so to speak. It was the Shea Illy and Toey Smith-Milner show, because they just took over for Sandringham, and mainly the two main scorers of that team. And Hobart had some issues trying to stop them. Smith-Milner knocked down some crucial buckets in the fourth quarter, which Hobart had to do a better job of defending. But unfortunately, Smith-Milner, when you're hot, you might as well keep going to the well. And he was really the game breaker in that fourth quarter, because Hobart had no answers. And then once the margin got to a point where there was no point of return, Hobart unfortunately ended up losing this one by 8, and really now puts a lot of stake on this last game coming up against the Northwest Thunder, which now has more ramifications. It's either a win and finish on top and we're through as far as getting a home final is concerned, lose and we may just drop into the middle of the pack and may be forced to go on the road in week 1 of the finals.
Well, Ronnie, we were waiting for the silence to break during the game, and it eventually came unstuck in that fourth quarter, and post-game there was a lot of dread across the media team, but we did manage to get a couple of words out of Anthony Stewart post-game.
Yes, the great crew here at Chargers Hoops TV, they had to beg because we saw a fair bit of white hair and a bit of steam coming out of Stewie's hair and head, but he was lucky enough to have a word with us, so let's go to that interview right now.
Oh, I thought we were good for the most part. I suppose it demonstrates how much we missed Harry Froling, and Jacob Richards went down with a back injury early on, so we had limited minutes out of him as well. He did a good job early. And then it just messed with our rotations. We had no bigs coming off the bench and got hurt on the board, and then Smith Milner goes 10 of 11 in the second half, so there's the game. Oh, you're never happy with a loss, but I suppose our attention turns to next week now in a must-win game against Thunder to keep our top spot. So yeah, it's going to be a tough end of the year. Smith Milner and Shea Ili, I mean, two NBL guys. Shea runs the show and he just tore Jack and everyone up in the second half. He was hard to contain, and then Smith Milner gets going from the perimeter, and we couldn't rebound as well as what we usually do, and it was all over. Positives are we were Harry and Froling and Sam McDaniel not here, and so you got two guys to come in, and I suppose that's why we bring those NBL guys in to do what the NBL guys did against us tonight, Smith Milner and Ili. So they just 29 and 27 between them, 57 points. Going to be hard to win games like that. Must win against Thunder. They're trying to fight for survival tomorrow as well, so it's going to be an interesting end of the year.
We also managed to get a chat with Jared Bairstow, Ronnie, and really relished that opportunity to be in that first, second scoring option role.
Absolutely. He had a fantastic game, had 26 points, and let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, we were solid. Just some defensive lapses really let us down. We did an awesome job moving the ball, playing for one another. Guys played hard. We just had some lapses that let us down in the end. Next week, playing Northwest, last game of the regular season. It's obviously a cross-town rivalry, or cross-state rivalry rather. They got a lot of good guys, so we got to come in ready to go. Hopefully Sam and Harry are back healthy, ready to go. I've loved it. It's awesome to play with a good group of guys. Stewie allows us to play with a lot of freedom, so it's been fun.
At Wilson Homes, we've been building the Australian dream for over 30 years. And today, this purpose is more important to us than ever before. That's why we're going to keep building the homes that define our way of life. So don't lose sight of your dream, because we're going to keep building for you.
Welcome back to Chargers Hoops TV, and of course, Chargers Hoops TV in 2022 would not be possible without our great sponsors, McKay's Timber, Gap, the Greyhound Adoption Program, and Ronnie, your favourite app. You've sold it to the world, everyone's favourite app, the What's On app.
Yes, JB, get on the What's On app because there's videos you can check out. You can get your tickets to the next Chargers game as well too. But hey, there's other events happening around here in Hobart as well too. Now, I've looked up Luke Kidgell here, a great comedian and does some fantastic work. He's also the name of also has the same first name as our producer, Luke, as well too. And I think they both kind of go toe for toe in the jokes market. So I'm going to check out Luke Kidgell. Make sure you get on the What's On app.
Check out the What's On app.
Made by nature, created by innovators, supplied by McKay's, your home of Tasmanian timber.
Well, Ronnie, at the end of another Chargers Hoops episode, but it is the biggest round of basketball in Hobart this season coming up. The derby, the intrastate derby for the women, Launceston and Hobart. It's going to be huge implications for Launceston this game. Meanwhile, for the Chargers and the Thunder in the men's, huge implications for both squads. These are going to be massive games and we reckon it's going to be a sellout. We want everybody there to cheer on and enjoy the game. Of course, Kylie's last game, get along to the women's to support her, and in the men's, potential top 2 spot on the line for the Thunder, potential top 8 spot on the line. A lot to play for this Friday night.
Absolutely, JB. There is a lot to play for, as you mentioned. And if this is not game of the week by the league, I do not know what the hell is going on at league headquarters as well too. Launceston are on the ropes at the moment, because if Launceston lose and then some other results go the way that the Tawns don't want that to go, they could be out of the finals completely. For Hobart, they're playing with nothing to lose here, playing for a lot of pride. They're going to play for Kylie's last game. They're going to get up and about for that as well too. And as we mentioned in the men's wrap-up, there's a lot at stake for the Chargers. If they want to be the minor premiers for the Coles Express NBL 1 South season for this season, they must win against the Thunder and guarantee a couple of home finals at least. And then on top of that, the Thunder are trying to still play to get into the 8 at the moment. And again, if results go their way, they could just sneak in as well too. So a lot of ramifications. But as JB mentioned, get to the Kingborough Sports Centre on Friday night and support your very own Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers as we look to finish the season on a high and as we stampede our way into the finals.
Get your tickets at the Hobart Chargers website or via the What's On app, and if you can't get to the game, make sure you tune in via the NBL One app or nbl1.com.au. That's Ronnie, I'm JB, and this has been Chargers Hoops TV.